Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Okay, so this is a data protection webinar, and okay, the webinar is on data protection, and the speaker is Hiram, who specialized in digital forensic, and he is a certified ethical hacker also. And he will, tell you everything about data protection, and you can ask questions in the end. Whatever questions you have at the end, last 5 to 10 minutes, you can ask questions. Okay, so Hiram, over to you. You can start.
Okay. One. Is my screen visible? Hello.
Yeah, your screen is visible. Yes.
Okay. Hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Hiram Patil. So today we will be learning about data protections. So means I would like you all means like to ask you all what do you means understand by data? You can answer your means. You can give your answers. Shall I continue otherwise? Anyone would like to speak what he understands that what is data in terms of digital. It's okay, then I would continue. Data means anything which is electronically stored in computer or drives any information, like previously how you used to store data in written formats or in sequential format, wherein there was a concept called tapes, where the data was stored sequentially. Later it evolved into hard drives, etc. So data is anything which is stored in electronical format in bits representing 0101 binary. Anybody want to say something? Okay, so data is anything information that is stored and processed. It is basically stored in zeros and ones, and the set of zeros and ones, wherein, for your example, a word file is saved. So there is a pointer which marks to that array of the bits stored in binary code, which fetches your data and produces you the result whenever you need the file. So that is the data, and in today's world data is also called as a 21st century's gold, that if you have access to data you can manipulate many things. So means yes,
Yes,
anybody want.
Raghav. Yes, yes. He got a question. Yes, you can ask.
Okay. Yes, who has Sharat SK? Yes, unmute.
No, continue. I'll take it later.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. You continue. He will ask in the end.
Okay.
Hello, hello.
Yes, 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 yes.
Uh, but basically डाटा जो डाटा इज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ बाइनरी फॉर्म में होता है ना, जीरो और वन के फॉर्म में।
Yes.
जो बेसिकली जो हमें दिखता है वो तो एक हमारी बनाई हुई चीज होती है, बट डाटा जो भी हमारा होता है वो जीरो और वन की फॉर्म में ही होता है।
Yes, correct.
तो व्हाट इज मीन बाय द सिक्वेंशली, जो आपने बताया सिक्वेंशली का क्या मीन है कि बाइनरी फॉर्म में जो होता है वो सिक्वेंशली होता है क्या?
नहीं नहीं नहीं, मैंने एग्जांपल दिया था कि बिफोर द यूज ऑफ हार्ड ड्राइव्स डेटा सिक्वेंशियली स्टोर होता था इन टेप्स, द टेप्स विच यूज टू पुट इन द रिकॉर्डर्स, द ब्लैक
हाँ
कलर
हाँ,
टेप्स.
यस
That
यस।
tapes were sequential formats. So for example, if you start storing the data in tapes, it will continuously use the first empty slot and then continue ahead. Nowadays in
Yes,
the
yes.
yes, now in hard drives it is the array. May it be located anywhere. There will be one pointer which will fetch the entire file for you. May it be stored on any disk or any platter. That's
Yeah, yeah.
the difference now.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, so I'm continuing on it.
Okay, continue.
The data which is stored in the hard drives and SSD is a there is a concept difference between that. Hard drives use magnetic fields to represent each region. So when we connect it, which the current passes through the hard drive, uh, it means affects the magnetic field over there, and like you said, that it is stored in 0101 bits. But in hard drives, if you have ever seen an open hard drive photo, there are means platters and a header in the hard drive which fetches you the data. For example, take a 500 GB hard drive. It will have three circular this disk on it, and there will be a one header. So whenever you click a file that you want to read, for example, Word file, the header and platters will move and fetch you that data. In terms of SSD, it is not like that. Means there are no headers and platters. It works on NAND basically, and it is stored in blocks where it is written sequentially, and the time complexity to fetch the data is less than hard drives. At the fetching and storage method is different in both. So I will come again on this point at the end, that how it affects sometimes the recovery situations as well as durability situations in data storage in HDD and SDD. But basically, for just for example, take it in here, it is stored in disks format like platters and headers, and it is here, it is stored in circuits, that the small IC that we see, IC is an example, but a bigger chip on the board in SSDs. So the thing is that how should you protect your data online in today's world? For example, wherever you sign in for any services, example Spotify or anything, sometimes there is an option that you continue with Google. Preferably many times people use it like sign in with Google, and then we don't read the next pop-ups which comes in between, which even says that Spotify will have access to your Gmail resources, that what you use. For example, they will specify it as to suggest you better relevant ads, etc. So means signing in with Gmail on every website that you visit, may you know or do not know, to just avoid creating a new user and username and password. For that we use the Google. So means here there is a suggestion that one thing you can do is provide a separate email ID for your work purposes and social media, and the recovery phone number that you use for your Gmail recovery or any other, means even it can be Facebook, LinkedIn, anything, it should be different. And the reason why I'm saying this is, for example, whenever a group of hackers try to target someone, the first phase in ethical hacking or any hacking is information gathering, to gather as much as information possible about the target resource. For example, he needs your email ID and phone number. He can even get it from the LinkedIn CVs that you post and the phone number through it. For example, your email ID on CV and phone number is common everywhere. So it can be used even to bypass your OTP methods, wherein some people have access to the SMS also in that case. So if you keep a email ID different on social media and your work purposes, wherein your banking is related to that email, so like how if we have to target an individual, we can even post a fake job opening on any of the sites or even SMS you a link. So if at that time your banking email ID and regular email ID is the same, then at that times your data and your monetary value is also at the risk. So we have suggested that those two things should be different. And whether if your friend or anyone sends you a link to, means for example, sign in through this link and gain 20 followers on Insta, so avoid using those links as well. And always check the URL. I have attached the photos how the phishing links are ahead, you will get to see that also. And so always check the URL. Mostly people use URL shorteners, or the URL is not the genuine URL of the website which it should be about. Is the speed okay, or I am going fast? Okay, okay, I will continue. So means the things that I mentioned you about, the using two different email IDs and phone, means not keeping the same phone number for everywhere for getting your data back. Another alternative wherein for the websites which you do not know, where they ask you for email verification. There are, I have attached two sample websites, point number 4, A and B. That these websites provide you temporary email address to just create an account or view the services of a website which you want would like to access, so that by these two you won't need to expose your original email ID on that website for signing in. Temporary mail gives you a temporary email address as long as your browser window is open. So any mails, even the OTP will come on that email ID. We will have a look at that. And 10 minutes mail is proper, the email address that will be generated will give you access 10 minutes only to that email ID. This is a step wherein, for example, you visit a website and you find something is not good about it. You can use these emails to, means preferably save your own data and original email IDs, which you may be using for banking, jobs, or anything, so that your mail is not exposed to attackers. And another website is have I been pwned. This is a website to check whether your Gmail ID was means breached in any of the recent attacks. For example, if you will insert your Gmail ID on this website, have I been pwned, and hit enter, it will show you whether your data was affected in a breach or not, and it will show you the means services where it had affected. For example, you had used this email ID for Domino's or Yahoo or anything, so it will show you that when this there was a breach and whether your data was affected or not. So by checking on this, if you have been a victim of this, you can immediately change your passwords and other things, and secure your account, that you may know that whether, don't wait for an attack to happen or an incident to happen. It is always better to be preventive on your side. For example, this is my email ID's screenshot, wherein after login into your email, you can go into manage accounts by clicking on this H icon or whatever your icon would be on the right hand side. So after clicking on it and manage your account, you can go into security, as I have highlighted over here. So in security, you can see your devices when where you are signed in. For example, if you left your Gmail signed in your college or at your workplace and you forgot to log out or anything, or somebody has your credential and using your Gmail ID. So from here, you can see that currently your email ID is logged in to which devices. May it be your phone, it be a Windows or Mac, anything. So for example, you find here as it is a one session on unknown device. You can click on it and means select to log out from it. So at least your access from that machine can be cut off. And after that, first of all, change your password to prevent the user having your password to log in again. Then, as I said, that for example, in Google Pay, Gmail, and any other services wherein we prefer the option of signing in with Google. So here it shows you in the data and privacy section that which third party has access to your account, your Gmail account. So in here, you can check whether any of the unknown third party has still access to your Gmail, which services you are not currently even using at all. So from here, you can select delete, and they won't have your Gmail access again. So in I have two Gmail IDs. In this only there was access to Google Pay. Yes,
Hiram,
anyone.
Hiram, I think your screen is stuck. Yes, now it is visible.
Okay.
The screen was stuck. Yes.
1 minute. Is it visible now?
Yeah, yeah, it's visible now.
Okay. uh, this slide of your devices, it is visible.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes,
Okay.
yes,
uh,
Yogesh. What do you want to say?
no, no. Is it now visible, no?
Yeah, yeah, it is visible now.
Okay. So I was saying that these are I have two Gmail IDs in which one there is only Google Pay, YouTube, and Gmail and official services which has access to my data, which I am currently using. In another slide, I would show you. This was another Gmail ID wherein I have used Gmail to sign in to use their services. So here you can check which services has still access to your Gmail. For example, I am not using router hosting VPS now. So you can click on the arrow and means remove your access of your Gmail from the router hosting VPS or any other services. For example, long back, if you had signed in using your Gmail to any music listening app or may it be anything, and you stopped using the services of either it be VPN, video calling, music listening, anything, but still, once you had signed in using your Google account, until and unless you remove it from your third party apps and services from the setting data and privacy and third party apps and services, until and unless the service which you are using will have access to your Gmail, whether you may be using or may not be using. So first thing which you will need to check is which third party apps and services has access to your Gmail. And if they are having access and you are not using their services, it is preferred you remove your mail ID access from it. This is a very important step regarding your Gmail. Another thing is whether you are sharing location with anyone or not. Most of the time what happens that there are cases of people wherein they say that people knows where they are going to travel or where they currently are, and they even call them for extortion by blackmailing them that we know your location, you stay here, you go to work over here, and currently you are here. This happens when you have given your location sharing access to any service provider at any time. Sometimes it may be genuine, or sometimes you.
Hiram, I think it got stuck again.
Okay.
Yes.
Shall I keep it like this only rather than slideshow?
Yeah, yeah, it will be fine. Yeah.
Okay. So what happens sometimes whether you are using an original location sharing services like Google Maps, but sometimes you might have been phished by any website or third party links that you have allowed your location, so people could have your location access by which they misuse it against you only. So over here in data and privacy, I will show this by logging my Gmail ID actually, but for your reference, I have currently pasted the screenshots. So here you can see location sharing currently not sharing with anyone. If it is sharing your location with anyone and you don't have any idea about it, you can stop it over from here, from this setting. And as I said that the third party services, here I have only these three services from where I have used my Gmail ID for signing in. For example, tomorrow I stopped using Google Pay and switched to Beam UPI or Phone Pay. Then I can delete from here email ID access to Google Pay. Like that, you can check the services which is having your Gmail ID access, and the services which you're not using, or if you find any suspicious services or anything, any subscription, you can delete your ID access to it from here. And the later thing that comes to be challenging that after is your system, may you be laptop, desktop, anything that has it been compromised or not, means is somebody. Yes. Okay, I'm continuing. So whether your system may it be anything, had someone means having access to it, that he can view what you are viewing on your screen, have a remote connection to your desktop, or even access your files by installing any spyware or any malware. So do this for means for checking your system that whether it has been compromised or not by any possible means, you may know or may not know. Basically, gaining access to your system happens mainly using PDF, exe, or JPG files. Like what hackers do is they means bind their exe malware to a 1 minute to your official, for example, this happens with job fetching peoples, that they bind a malware, a fake job hosting site, or anybody who is trying to, for example, victimize you. What they do, behind the offer letter of PDF maybe, they bind the exe file using a software. So when you click the PDF, and PDF only will open in front of you, but in the background exe file will execute and give your access of the system to the attacker. So basically this happens, and if in case you are not using any good anti malware softwares or antivirus, and you have not scanned the PDF while before opening it, and you don't know whether your system has been compromised or not, for that two softwares are suggested over here in the site, in this PPT. You can, for the scanning purpose, you can use their trial versions, but for removal of that malware, these sites are paid, and this is not any promotional. We actually use their premium versions also for the work. One is malware bytes and other is spy hunter. The basic difference between these two is that malware bytes can also at least quarantine if they suspect any malwares or spywares are operating inside your system. And spy hunter can give you the detail, even the directory where the file is present from wherein your system was compromised. So these two softwares are preferably trusted ones to scan your system and find out whether means your system has been exploited or not exploited. In the next slide I have attached a proper means how the result it shows. Is the slide visible? I am making it full screen. Can you see the screen of Spy Hunter?
Yes, 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 it's visible.
Okay, so the audience here, you can see that four malwares were found in the system. This was a case which wherein I have worked. So here it was like there was a student of PhD researcher in microbiology. Her system was compromised by using a PDF file, and one DLL was means manually means by the manual access to the machine was added in it. So here you can see there is a f last one svhost.exe wherein the path is mentioned. So basically if you have any means any one of the on the call currently have the knowledge about background processes of Windows, there is a genuine process of svchost.exe which Windows uses for its functioning. Here what they did, that they changed the name, they had mentioned it at svhost.exe, and this was the file wherein they had access to the entire system. And you can even read a description about the malware, that means it can how is it accessed, and it hides in the background after installation, and it can be used to steal password, change your system settings, monitor your computer activity. So the case was like that whatever research work she was doing for her PhD thesis, after she typing a word file, they used to means copy that word file. Once you have access, you can copy files from the targeted system as well. And later they used to delete her research also, that she could not use it. So this was a genuine case which recently had happened. So the thing is, this svhost.exe was the file wherein her system was compromised. So like this, you can check whether your current system that you are using is compromised or not by using this tool. This one has the slide changed?
No, I think it's the same.
Okay,
Uh,
okay,
yeah, now it's changed.
okay. So this screenshot is from the another software called Malwarebytes. Here, as you can see, that those detections which were there in Spy Hunter as well are shown here also. The svhost.exe which was there, it is here. It is at hijack.shell. Basically, what they did was they compromised your Windows shell. Basically, your CMD, you can say, or PowerShell, which you can even see by searching in the Windows. So by that they had the access to the entire PC, and these others are the extensions that were means followed by this malware. And there was a one software convert.exe which was installed on the system, and it was also a malware, but not as means access giving like that svhost.exe. So means she didn't knew that this convert.exe is present and was not also using the software. So always have a look at the apps which are installed on your machine, that whether it is updated or is installed and you do not use it at all. For this there is another method, like some apps after installing works in the background, you may not see their icons or any presence on the desktop. For that, as we all know, there is a task manager which we basically use for to end task whenever there is a issue of hang or crash. So at such times, for your protection measure, you can also look over here by task manager in processes, wherein apps would be listed above, and background processes wherein all these malwares hide themselves. So here in the below, there are 73 background processes. There was one process of svhost.exe and svchost.exe, wherein svc was the original and svhost was the malware they were planted. So even if you don't know the file names or whether it is a original Windows service or not, there is a column of memory consumption. From the memory consumption, you can also suspect a process that if it is in background and it is consuming memory more than the apps which are running, it generally most of the times could be a spyware, malware, or anything which is giving access to your system or using your system remotely. So if in any of the background processes your memory consumption looks high, you can still suspect that process to be not a genuine ones. And for checking that which process is using what, there is a command netstat. You have to run this command in command prompt, cmd, what we call as netstat -a -n -o. I will show you once it at the end. So it will give you the protocol which the service is using. The foreign IP address is the IP address which it is communicating with, its current state and process ID. So the advantage you will have from this is that you will find the PIDs mentioned. PID is the process ID. So from here, if you see a foreign address, connection established, and the process ID, The process ID you can match with your task manager, not in processes, but in details. In details, you can see the process ID and the name of the process using it. For example, in here it is not the case of what I am saying, but there is a process which is using your system and the process ID. You can kill the process from here by right clicking on it and kill to temporary means uh, disconnect your access to your system by the attacker. But the problem arises when he has installed the malware in your startup. Startup basically is the things which the apps and services which start after you restart your PC of a shutdown or just manual restarting. If the malware is in startup, so it will again reinitiate itself whenever you restart your PC. So at such times you will probably need a malware remover tool to means safeguard your system. But these were the methods by which you can check whether your system was compromised or not. So the thing is prevention, that such attacks should not happen on your system. These attacks are means can happen by many ways. Any in any hacking, there are methods of information gathering, exploit creation means payload creation, implementing it, and after the work is done, covering tracks means not to leave. Means for example, somebody has used your system to gain access to your photos or any personal details. After getting the data, he won't keep the access to your system. He even would delete the file by wherein he got the access and also clear all the logs. If you have any means knowledge or know about it, Windows generate logs of every activity. You're signing in, incorrect password, apps that you used, everything. So they will also delete the logs. So to prevent such attack from happening, these attacks can happen online also and offline also. By offline I mean that in your college or any workplace, if you leave your system unattended and there is no password or any access privileges, somebody can manually install the virus, malware, spyware, anything to your laptop. For that there are methods. This is basically called hardening, OS hardening, and Windows Defender, which is a built-in feature of Microsoft. Here we suggest to the people that whenever you are using your system, always create two user profiles. One admin that you will always use, and if you are giving your laptop to anyone for use, give them the guest login. And whenever means when we will implement these two, admin and guest, the difference would be that in guest login there will be only access to your folders and files of read only permissions, and USB ports will be disabled. How to disable USB ports I will demonstrate you at the end. So wherein nobody can delete the files or add any files, and by USB they could not even add any softwares to your PC or copy your data. This one method is to prevent any physical losses happening. The next thing which happens, that whether you have a password enabled for your Windows machine, there are methods by which your login could be bypassed just by using a pen drive and a booting software. So to avoid that, there is a BIOS, basic input output system. This basically controls your input output devices, also boot sequences. Means you have to, OS has to be booted, for example. So the booting of OS should happen from your internal hard drive or an external source. So if your secure boot is not turned on in the BIOS, any attacker can use a pen drive or anything and boot through that and gain access to your system. So first of all means you have to turn on the secure boot to prevent this. And even if sometimes secure boot is on and your BIOS is not password protected, still the sequence can be changed. So the preventive measure over here is, for first is the separating your user profiles, and another one is having a setup, means password setup for BIOS, basic BIOS menu. BIOS can be entered by at the startup. When you start the PC, there are different function keys for every laptop manufacturer. For example, Dell it is F2 or F12, HP it is something different, like that it matters differently. So you have to safeguard these parameters. And later comes the access privileges, like what I told you. In guest you will only give read access and not the full control. Like you can see, as you will open this PC and one drive, C, D, E, anything, you have to right click on it, go on the properties, and in security you can see over here there is an option to edit. This is you can change this setting from every users that you have created from the admin. You have to log in from the admin to change the access rights for every other users present on your system. So here, as you can see, there is a full control, modify, read, list, read, write, like these. So for your use, you can have full control. For guest use, guest login, or you are giving your laptop, for example, to the interns joined your organization. So for them, you can only give read, lead and list folder contents access, not the write one or modify ones, so that there should not be any physical tampering of your important data, which someone can even delete it, replace it, or can copy it for their use. So this can be implemented from here as well. So you can see that here only read permission is given for the D drive, and rest all are means unchecked over here. So this is a method wherein you can safeguard your system manually also. And here it is, means this is a little bit advanced, you can also say that, that from control panel in programs where you use this feature for uninstalling a program, there is a tab, not tab, turn Windows features on and off. The that I have clicked and this window has opened. Here you, if you can read, there is a thing written simple TCP IP, Telnet, and SMB. Basically, these are protocols. Telnet is used to connect, means basically to have access like remote desktop protocol. People, means anyone who have done CCNA certifications or anything like that would know what Telnet does. Telnet basically can give access to your PC or any other PC using IP address and a password. So for example, you never give remote access to anyone to your PC, and your telnet and RDP are on, you can manually turn off these services from control panel, so that nobody can have a remote access to your system knowingly or unknowingly. These things basically happen in LAN networks. For example, your college lab, wherein all the PCs are connected in the same network, and you know the IP of the other PC. So if you have telnet or RDP enabled, by entering the IP address and the password, or if in case there is no password set for the user, you can have the remote desktop protocol of the another PC without needing to even hack it or using any spyware for it. So this feature is basically to avoid your remote access to any other system unknowingly if anyone is using. This part over here is for the defender settings, by which you can physically improve your security for your self data protection. This is Windows security page, wherein app and browser controls you need to check this on, whether the apps and files that you install are has to be checked. Basically turn this system on. Smart screen, everything, means you, this should be turned on for your security. And in depth I will tell you about this core isolation. Core isolation is basically like you know that some PCs are dual core, quad core, octa core PCs. This basically is the memory access. If it is turned off and any of the malware which is coded in such a way that it can go and have the access to your cores or the ram, which ram which we use in the PCs, if this control is turned off, it can easily go and means have the access to your cores or the ram which you are using. So core isolation should be turned on. So the windows which uses the actually from the quad cores, if it is using one of the core, so there should be isolation that totally your system should not be compromised, or if the malware is coded in such a way that it can get access to the cores or the ram, this should be avoided. So core isolation is a thing which should be turned on in your Windows Defender to prevent the malware getting into startup and getting persistence, that whether you turn off your net or restart your PC, it will always reinitiate it access automatically without any other need or any other change in settings. This is in the settings for this was generally preferred means at least few years back, wherein there were autoplay scripts which script kiddies or hackers were using, that wherein just plugging in the USB drive, no need to run or open any file, those script will automatically get executed. Means such uh, it doesn't require any special pen drive, just a normal pen drive. One must need to know how to script it. So what used to happen, that these people used to just insert the pen drive, do not need to open anything or access any file. Just by inserting the pen drive, it used to flood the RAM with just processes, or like we say worms. Means worms do not give away your data like viruses, but it will just slow down your system by utilizing the memory unnecessarily and replicating itself. This autoplay feature is for USB, which has been turned off over here in the screen that you are seeing. What advantage this gives you over means randomly should on that there are some viruses, worms, or trojans. Trojan is just type of virus that just by plugging in, until you have even scanned it or anything, just the plugging in will give it access and start its process. So if you have autoplay turned off for all media and devices, may it be pen drive, SD card, external hard drive, anything. So once this is turned off, you will insert your pen drive. First of all, scan it with a trusted software. If it is okay, means there is no viruses, malwares, anything, then you can open it. So the advantage over here is it won't autoplay and have the access to it. Basically, whenever you leave your pen drive connected and you restart, first of all, that BIOS, what is does it, basic input output, it reads everything which is connected to it, may it be CDs, pen drives. So and even if you have not opened any file from the pen drive, but at the time of boot, it can get access to your system if it is coded like that. So if your autoplay is turned off, it could be a advantageous situation wherein your system may not be compromised easily. If anyone has planned and victimized you by a pen drive to get access to your system, it can be prevented by this way. This is a controlled folder access. Means controlled folder access will not let the means I will show you this practically. If you have turned this on, control folder access, the folders which you will add in this list, that here protected folders, there is an option. So the access to these folders will not be for every services running on your system. This might even sometimes hamper the normal functioning of your not the Windows, but any other softwares that you use. That if they need access to a particular folder and you have added that folder into protected folders. Basically, this is for your critical files, important, work related, personal files, anything. which you do not need to add on social media or anything. Basically, whenever you post a photo on Instagram maybe or Facebook, it basically has an access to that folder, that like in the apps when you see, it gives you pop-ups that whether you need access, it need access to your storage, mic, camera. So basically, if you add your a particular folder wherein you have bank statements, your government documents to the protected folder list, so this folder access will not be for the every other services you have using. So even in the case of ransomware, any system is not truly protected anytime. There could be any other means to access it. But in case of even ransomware attack, these folders access can be denied to the attacker if they are in the protected folder list. Ransomwares are of many types. Some even totally delete your system, just change your wallpaper and show the encrypted files. It depends, but this is a extra protection measures for your data to be safeguarded. The data which is critically important to you and you which do not upload on the internet, or it should not hamper your normal processing in the controlled folder access. Here you can see the list. These are the default Windows added things. Here you can add your protected folder which you would like to add. Another another thing is for your system protection, like even if you have added the password to your Windows login, uh, if someone removes your hard drive or SSD, connects it to an external source and attaches it, it can have access to your data. Means this is generally you can use it for illegal purposes, but I am sharing it you for educational purpose. For example, these cases happen wherein if your PC is password protected while logging in, and attacker doesn't know the password to your system, he will basically unscrew it, remove your hard drive, attach it to an external source which lets you plug in the hard drive through a USB connection and have access to all your data without entering your password to the Windows. For this, you need to enable BitLocker encryption, or there is an alternative called McAfee encryption also, which protects your hard drive in case someone removes it also, means from your system. BitLocker basically is a 32 key string of length, wherein even if you connected your hard drive, pen drive, SSD other than your system to any other system or by USB, it won't give any access to the data unless the key is pasted, means where the pop-up arrives, enter your BitLocker key. So your data can be totally protected even in case somebody takes away your hard drive. And if you don't know the BitLocker, it is typically not possible to just brute force the 32-bit character length of password to find the correct password. So BitLocker should be enabled for the data protection. And for external hard drives and pen drives, there is a software called VeraCrypt, which is an open source software. You can use this to encrypting your pen drive. This practical will be the first I will be showing you now, that how you can encrypt your pen drives so that anyone who plugs in do not get the access to it to read your data or even copy or tamper with your data. There is a this is a software VeraCrypt which we also use it to encrypt your pen drives. That data should not be opened without the password entered to it. And I am now coming on the last part of the phishing. Anybody has any idea what phishing is? You can talk now. What do you know by phishing? Anyone who would like to speak? Okay, I would be continuing in this case. Phishing is an online scam wherein a link has been sent to you by any message, any email, by basically tempting you to sign in through that link, rather by giving a cashback, giving you followers, or any other thing which you think it is important for you, and you are getting it just by clicking and accessing your social media or anything by it. So what basically happens here is that this is not the original link which should be of the site or the social media app or anything you are using. Here I have actually represented you a attack which is done by the hackers in phishing. In the right hand side you can see on the top it is Gmail email for Google, that part is written over there, and you can see a Gmail login over here and a proper page. I have just shortened it to keep the both slides here. But the catch over here is the URL. If you are saying it is https a number and .ngrok.io, so always check the URL before you are entering any of your credentials on any of the websites you are opening via SMS or any emails. Preferably it is suggested do not fall for such schemes. Always log in by going on the official link URL of the site which you want to use. At such places it happens you log in from this, and attacker gets all your credential on the left side window which is opened over here. And after you click sign in, you won't be log in, but rather you would be redirected to the official Gmail page where you will have to enter your username password again, and after that you will actually sign in your Gmail. But the catch over is the attacker already got the access to your credentials. You can see over here that after logging in, it has redirected it to the google.com. This can be anything as implemented for redirecting after the phishing URL. And you can see here credentials found, email entered, and password. So as many people would log in via this email, their credentials would be captured over here. This is a phishing scam. This is even in use today as well. And this is the way wherein most of the social media is compromised of many users. So always check the URL that you are using. It should always be the genuine URL of the social media, Gmail, banking website, anything. It should not be any shortened URL like bit.ly. Yeah, the example that you saw in the previous slide, like here it is ngrock.io. Always check the URL. The login page would be same for the fake ones and the genuine ones also. Like here you can see I have hidden the name of the tool which was used over here. But here you can see the list of the web pages for which the phishing is implemented, from Instagram to a custom page even if you want to use. And here on the IG followers, like some people scam you that we will provide you followers, sign in through this link, you will get 100 followers, 1000 followers, anything. So always check the URL and avoid using any untrusted SMS or any untrusted emails wherein you will have to enter your credentials. Like a link over here, HTTPS, and all these links will be HTTPS. There will be nothing like HTTP. And these are shortened URLs. These URLs you almost would also be receiving in SMS also. This is the URL, but this will be a phishing link. So another prevention is, if in case you have to open the link from the SMS or email, may it be from your working company or even of your trusted source. The suggestion over here is, first of all enter wrong credentials and press sign in. If the page stays the same, it's okay, and you can then enter your original credentials, because phishing generally works for a first attempt. So if you enter wrong credential first, and even if it was a phishing link, it would redirect you to the original ones, and if it redirected you to the wrong ones, you would know it was a phishing link. But by entering incorrect details, your data was protected over here. This was related to the phishing ones. And before data recovery, I would means suggest you means show you practically how to use the VeraCrypt. Any questions till then I could answer till I'm setting up for the Veracrypt ones.
बेसिकली वेराक्रिप्ट क्या काम करता है? फॉर फिशिंग के लिए ओनली यूज होता है?
No, no, no. Veracrypt is not for phishing. It is to safeguard your output. Sorry, USB devices. May it be memory cards,
अच्छा,
pen
पेन
drives,
ड्राइव
hard
के लिए
drives.
यूजेबल है?
हाँ,
अच्छा, एक्सेसिबल नहीं होगा उससे पेन ड्राइव हमारी, अगर हम कोई एक्सटर्नल पेन ड्राइव लगाएंगे तो?
नहीं, नहीं, नहीं. ये कब काम करेगा? जब भी समझो आपका पेन ड्राइव है और आपने आपका पेन ड्राइव ऐसे ही अनअटेंडेड छोड़ दिया है
ओके।
कहीं कहीं पे भी, तो कोई भी वो पेन ड्राइव कनेक्ट करके आपका डेटा कॉपी ना कर पाए.
ओके, तो ये
मीन्स
बैराकिट क्या पेन ड्राइव में ही होगा कि मतलब हमारे पीसी में होगा वो तो?
नहीं, नहीं. वेराक्रिप्ट आप गूगल पे टाइप भी करोगे ना, तो एक वो सॉफ्टवेयर है, फ्रीली डाउनलोड होता है.
नहीं, एक्चुअली अगर मैंने बैराकिट अपने पीसी में डाउनलोड कर लिया, ठीक है, और मेरे पास एक पेन ड्राइव है, और वो पेन ड्राइव मैंने कहीं छोड़ दी, तो उस पेन ड्राइव का जो भी अंदर डाटा है वो एक्सेसिबल होगा अदर कोई और पीसी में लगाएगा अपने तो?
उस पीसी में आपको वेराक्रिप्ट इंस्टॉल करके पासवर्ड डाल के ही एक्सेस करना पड़ेगा.
जब भी उस पेन ड्राइव पर डाटा हम कर पाएंगे?
तभी ही आप डाटा देख पाओगे, तब तक आप डाटा नहीं देख पाओगे.
ओके ओके, थैंक
आप
यू।
अभी भी अगर आप पीसी पे लॉग्ड इन हो ना, तो आप वेराक्रिप्ट सर्च करके देखना.
ओके ओके।
एक मिनट, हाँ, मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ. मैं वापस एक बार स्क्रीन शेयर कर रहा हूँ.
Sir, I have a question in mind from previous slide. Can I ask now?
हाँ, यस, कंटिन्यू. योर
Hello?
वॉइस इज ब्रेकिंग. योर
Yeah,
वॉइस इज.
actually due to the net problem. Uh,
यस,
Hello?
कंटिन्यू. हाँ, कंटिन्यू कंटिन्यू.
Yeah, my question is like for checking breach data, you have mentioned that PWN lab and all those. Now,
यस,
it's always a question in my mind that PWN Lab is a website, and whenever we are putting some mail or anything for checking the breach data, uh, my question is it kind of storing that data also?
no, basically behind every website, whether you see, there is a database which works behind it. So
Yeah.
when breaches happen, they
Mhm.
update that database.
Yeah.
So when you enter your email, it checks with the database wherein your email ID is present.
Yeah,
And
it's basically like a control F, like it checks basically whether it is matching or not.
yes,
That I understand, but the problem is whether like something we are, let's consider we are putting some mail of us. So
yes,
the next process is it is matching with its database.
yes.
So my question is after that, is it storing the mail we are putting in the search button or something like that? Is the website like PWN Lab, is it also storing?
Basically, means I don't know about that whether it stores or not, but I would say here that this not just checks the webs. Means it is not just search thing. Are you able to see my screen? I'm continuing about this
Yeah,
only.
yeah, I can see, I can see.
In the breaches, what exactly was breached?
The
Uh,
private data or the data which is stored by the particular websites.
Yes,
Yeah.
it won't just match your email address. If there was a breach and what was breached through your email, or your
Yes.
email was breached through a service,
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
will if it will check that. And for example, your question is you entered over here and you clicked on it.
Yeah.
So even if it stores your email ID, your password is not over here, or you have not given any access by signing in using Google.
Hmm.
So even if they store your email ID, they just have your email ID, nothing above that.
Yeah, but let's consider like as it is like my the reason of my question is as it is also the website, so there is a chance that it might get breached in the future also.
Yes, for example, this is my another email ID, and I use this service for photos posting. So it has shown over here that incident took almost 15 million unique email address, username, gender, date of birth, and this. So basically, the problem over here is that they got my date of birth. Date of birth, many of the people use it as their credit card, debit card password, phone passwords, like that.
Yes.
And geographic locations, like I showed you that whether your geolocation access is there or not over the site.
Yeah.
So these in this breach, these were compromised. For example, I would talk about me. I keep my geolocation history off from the Google. So the monthly report, which most of you might be getting, that this was your monthly summary, these places you traveled.
Yeah.
So I have turned that off. That geolocation history should be off. The only disadvantage is it that it never stores my enter addresses. I always have to type it completely, but there is no location saved of where I am traveling anywhere maybe. So I have turned that setting also off. So in such cases, it is an additional protection for you.
Yeah, obviously that is an additional protection actually. My doubt of pointers, like my point of doubt is basically PWN lab has a huge data leak data storage, and now we are searching with our own email, so it is kind of adding up. If it is storing the data, if and only if it is storing the data, it is kind of adding our mail with those data. Now if someone use some paid tools, like let's consider intelligencex.io, like all those tools, like they
Okay.
give passwords in clear text after decrypting the encrypted password.
Okay.
So if in some days like PWN lab also gets breached, so my question is it best practice to put our email anywhere?
Okay, I got your question. With the website you said, it also gives you clear text password.
Yes.
But on the I have been pawned website, you are not entering any password, any OTPs, or any phone numbers. You are just
Yeah.
entering an email ID. The
But
max
it
thing
is
that could
getting. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
the max thing that could go wrong is that even if tomorrow I have been pawned is compromised, the attacker could have your email IDs, and by that email IDs he can send you phishing links or any malware.
Yes, absolutely.
This could happen, and even if it is a free service, they have a donate option. Means they have been doing it as a free also, and if you are to donate, you can donate. It is like that.
Yeah, I get it. Like say for example, never mind. I just have my own tool. I checked it. Like you have another breach from Relia 3, so it just gave you the time you spent in your application, uh, your WhatsApp details, and all those are there. So these type of data breaches are not basically also not in PWN lab also. So I think.
Yes.
So my question is, what is the best option? Like PW, as I know, as for now, PWN lab is not buying any leak data from 2019, I guess. So in present scenario, what can be the best option? Like Relia 3 data breach happened in 2022.
Yes, these means they update their databases. Means we don't know where means when they update it. But basically, the best thing is, like I said previously, for means IRCTC, you say for social media or banking. I would suggest for IRCTC social media, keep a different email ID, and your banking email ID should not be present anywhere else.
Okay. Yeah.
This is
Uh, Thank you, sir. I just that was my question only. Yeah.
and there can be another websites for checking the breaches, but this was a common. For example, I have demonstrated it. But the prevention to this is your working email. Means in it is in banking, it is for your stocks or your mutual funds. That email should always be kept different, and it should not be used for any other online activity.
Yeah, that was my point only. Like, should we put that email in have I been pwned also? Like, can we use that?
No, means if it is your personal, means that kind of an email ID, so don't use it anywhere else only.
Yeah, that was my question only. Like, if PWN lab gets breached, then that mail also of mine gets breached also, right?
No, mail won't get breached. Only your email address would be saved. Your mail won't get breached.
No, the email address will get breached, and that can lead to social engineering, all kind of attacks. Like after, and I'm talking about the futuristic view.
Huh, but even just by entering your data has not yet been breached. Only if
Yeah.
in case their database is hacked tomorrow, the
Mm-hmm.
attacker will only have the email address. Then he will have
Yeah.
to work on it later.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, I
Thank
am demonstrating the VeraCrypt thing now. Means, for example, you can see VeraCrypt is open over here, and here you can see the window. What you have to do, I would share with you now. There is a pen drive connected to this system. I will show you. And before doing VeraCrypt, your initial data would get wiped out. So either take a backup, then do VeraCrypt, or before using your pen drive, starting to use, implement this. For example, this has these folders in it, but this would not means have to be deleted. You can see the eyeball partition over here. This is disk management. You can access it over here. This disk management, once you will click on this window would pop up. So basically what the practice that we follow for VeraCrypt, that this we first of all delete the volume. This will create, means wipe all your data. Okay, wait, I must not have been logged in via administrator. Like the another guy who asked me a question, that what if the PC I am using later on do not have the, means VeraCrypt installed on it. So what we basically do is we create two partitions of the pen drive, one of few MBs, for example 512 MB, and we keep a VeraCrypt setup on the open partition, wherein if you connect the PC, the thing that will pop up will only be the setup file in auto run, and your actual encrypted data you will have to mount it over here by, means selecting, means select device, open, and then I would show you this way. Otherwise I would show you that disk management is not opening. Here you have to select encrypt a non-system partition drive, second option. This means the flash drives that you create. You can also encrypt a file container or entire system partition. By this, the C drive, D drive, E drive, these files. Here you have to use standard. Here you have to select the device. But my PC has went slow, not responding. One moment. My system is hanging due to it was on since long time. I would get back in a minute. Till then, anyone having any question, you can please go on.
If you guys have any questions, then you can ask him.